Welcome to the NCAA Softball Regionals presented by Capital One. Today, the Austin Regional gets underway with the Big 12, Big 10 battle between Baylor and Wisconsin for the right to advance into the winner's bracket here at McCombs Field this weekend. The Badgers enter the weekend the number 2 seed here in the Austin Regional, while the Bears are currently 3rd, and our second game today will feature the defending national champs Texas taking on the Wagner Seahawks. Here we go from Austin. Alongside Kat Osterman, I'm Alex Loban. Kat, let's start with Wisconsin back in the postseason for the first time in 4 years, led by the powerful bat of Hillary Blomberg.
Well, yeah, the offense, 52 home runs on the year, 277 RBIs. They're able to get it done up and down the lineup, but that 2-hole of Hillary Blomberg, you mentioned it, she has tied the single season record for home runs and continues to just build on that, on pace to set the career home run record with 1 more year to go. But she really is what powers this Wisconsin offense and gets them going. That
offense has carried them here into the postseason for the first time since 2022. A couple of big bats in the lineup, but when you talk about Blomberg on the season, 15 home runs, tying the single season record, and for her career, 9 home runs shy of matching the all-time record. As for the Baylor Bears, they're making their 17th appearance in a regional, led by the speedster Brooklyn Carter at the top of the lineup.
Well, 2 years ago, Brooklyn Carter transferred to Baylor from Washington, and ever since she has made her mark on this program, she leads off. She is the spark plug, a lot of speed, a lot of consistency, but she's going to have to put the pressure on the defense and let her team build off of that as the top part of this lineup.
How important is game 1 of the regionals? Well, historically, 97% of teams to make a super have won their first game of the regional. We got the Badgers and Bears coming up next in game 1 of the Austin Regional. Let's take a look at Baylor's starting lineup, brought to you by Capital One, one of the fastest teams in the Big 12, second in the conference in stolen bases. We talked about Brooklyn Carter's speed at the top. That offense will be going up against Shelby Jacobson, the senior in the circle for the Wisconsin Badgers.
Well, Shelby Jacobson having a career year in the circle, named 3rd team All-Region. The only all-region nod for the Wisconsin Badgers, but Coach Yvette Healy praises just how much work Jacobson has done with their pitching coach, Mike Roberts. But just 6 wins going into this season combined, and coming out and having an all-region type year. Such a special moment for the senior.
At 14-9 on the season, so here we go, set to get underway. First game of the regional, Brooklyn Carter at the plate. And the first pitch delivered by Jacobson misses for ball 1 for Wisconsin. It's their 10th overall regional. For the Baylor Bears, their 3rd in the last 4 years. After missing out last season.
interesting enough, talking to Glenn Moore, he said he thought they had a better shot last year. He said that was one of his best teams he's ever coached, was bummed that they didn't get in. But
1 and 2 from Jacobson.
Well, we're going to see Jacobson use a little bit of everything. She can hit all 4 quadrants. She throws in the low 60s, trusts her spin, but that changeup, which we just saw for strike 2, going to be a difference maker against this Baylor offense. My favorite part, talking to her, trying to understand how she clicks. She is the polar opposite of I ever was in the circle, but
you didn't play on vibes?
She plays on the vibes. Good vibes only. She stays loose, cracks the jokes, keeps everything light out there on the field.
It is a very loose and relaxed Wisconsin team as Jacobson fields that one for out number 1. Said they are just thrilled to be here again after missing out on the postseason for the last 3 years. Definitely have some added motivation and bulletin board material. When the all-conference team was recently announced, not a single Badger made any of the all-Big Ten teams. And also, Kat, they took notice of the fact that some publications called this, quote, the most boring regional in the country, and that Texas would cruise through it. Their head coach, Yvette Healy, took notice of that and made sure her players were aware of that as well.
Well, she knows how to get them fired up. In the past, you talked to Yvette Healy, and she does a lot of book studies and all sorts of things to get the team gelled, and she's like, I didn't really have to do that this year with this group. And when you have that, you know it's a player-led team at that point, and that they can write themselves. You don't always have to be the one involved. But she knew just enough to be able to hit that forward button and send some material to get them going. Wisconsin,
the number 8 seed on their side of the bracket. And again, the number 2 seed here in the Austin Regional. Foul back off the bat of Faith Piper. Moved up to the 2 spot in the lineup. The sophomore has been one of the most impactful hitters for the Bears this season. 2nd on the team in doubles and 3rd in batting average. Did not go around in this era of the long ball, Cat. This is a throwback Baylor team that relies on small ball stolen bases. They are last in the Big 12 in home runs, but again, 2nd in stolen bases. And it has helped them go 28 and 26 on the season.
Well, yeah, Glenn Moore has historically had teams that put pressure on the defense. As you mentioned, they play small ball, they slap, they'll hit and run, they'll steal. He allows some of his base runners to be able to have free reign. Brooklyn Carter, and pretty much for the most part, can go when she feels like it, read the ball as she feels like, push the envelope. But a little less power than Baylor's had in past years.
There's some pop off the bat of Faith Piper, and the announcer Jinx kicks in. 1 out into the game as Piper shows off some power with the extra base hit, and Baylor with a runner in scoring position.
Well, this is a changeup that hangs up in there, and Piper stays back, able to drive this to right center, but up in the zone, and you see her just take the barrel, pull that a little bit. But the depth of that allows Piper, who runs well, to get to 2nd. Baylor with their first runner in scoring position early in this one.
Here comes Amber Tovin, the senior shortstop, who has put together the best season of her career, leading the team in batting average. And she's driven in 47 runs on the season. She takes ball 1.
Well, right now, if I'm Baylor, I'm looking for that changeup up in the zone. Jacobson has had a little bit of difficulty hitting that bottom part of the zone. She's getting behind with that drop ball. But really using that changeup as the difference maker. If you're able to take that out of her hand as an offense, especially early in the game, it's going to set you up either for free passes till she finds the zone or able to hone in on one part of the plate.
Tovin has a favorable count. 2-0 from Jacobson. In there for strike 1. Baylor averages about 4.5 runs per game on the season. They have played one of the toughest schedules in the country, the toughest in the Big 12. So they have been battle-tested heading into the postseason. Tovin up the middle. 2 away. So it'll be up to Leah Cran with a runner on third. And 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. Cran, the junior first baseman, has been putting up the best power numbers of her 3-year career, leading the team in extra base hits. They could use one here. And again, a first pitch ball from Jacobson.
Well, Jacobson trying to induce some ground balls, let her defense work, but unable to spot that drop ball at the knees.
Jacobson named to the Big Ten All-Tournament team after the Badgers beat Purdue and upset Oregon, what they called their biggest win of the season. Helped them get into this regional in the postseason. And did not go around.
You can tell Baylor, having scouted, going to be patient, force Jacobson to bring it up. They have not chased the ball out of the zone yet.
Excuse me, 3-1 there. And you talk about Jacobson. You know, you mentioned her career numbers heading into this season, 6 victories. Her head coach, Yvette Healy, said people don't understand how hard it is to go from not being an ace the first 3 years of your career to suddenly being thrust into that role in your senior season. Already in a bit of a pickle here with runners on the corners and 2 away.
You talk about just a combined 6 wins going into your senior year and then shouldering the load. As you mentioned, that is a big flip of the script. But you talk to Shelby Jacobson and just another day at the ballpark for her.
Delivers first pitch strike to Samaya Jones, the sophomore transfer from LSU who has gotten hot late in the season. Look at her batting average at .236. It may not jump off the screen, but keep in mind in mid-March it was 100 points lower than that. She hit 300 in Big 12 play to become one of their best hitters in the second half of the season.
You talk about this Baylor squad, and they're extremely young, and you talk about young and inexperienced. 2 sophomore pitchers that transferred over, 21 innings combined between the 2 of them as freshmen. Samaya Jones transferred from LSU, very limited time there as a Tiger. Then you thrust them, and same thing we talked about with Shelby Jacobson, you thrust them into playing every day. They have to catch up to speed as you would if you were a freshman playing every day. So I think you see from Samaya Jones getting acclimated to being able to be one of the hitters who's always in the lineup for Glenn Moore and starting to get adjusted to Division I pitching.
Count even at 2 with 2 on and 2 away. Piper at third, Cran over at first after a double and a walk. Two from Jacobson. Cran drifting over to second. There will be no throw, so now 2 in scoring position, and 1 more ball will load the bases. Jacobson, 25 pitches thrown here in the first inning. Payoff pitch on the way to Samaya Jones. Outs her over to third, and Wisconsin gets out of an early jam. Baylor strands 2 here in Austin. Let's take a look at Wisconsin's starting lineup, brought to you by Capital One. How about the freshman season by Jacqueline Showalter in the 3 spot? She has set a new freshman record for the Badgers with 13 home runs on the season. Showalter and company will be going up against Peyton Tanner, sophomore transfer from Tennessee, who is top 10 in the Big 12 this year in strikeouts.
Well, Peyton Tanner, we talked about it. Limited action as a freshman, has been able to come in and be one of Baylor's main 2 pitchers. Going to enter today with the 4.33 ERA, but has gone up against some of the top offenses. We're talking the last 2 weeks, playing Oklahoma State, Texas Tech. Been able to keep Baylor in some of those games.
This Wisconsin offense averages nearly 6 runs per contest. In that upset of Oregon in the Big Ten tournament, they put up an 11 spot. Most by the Badgers ever in a Big Ten tournament game. And the first pitch misses to Emily Bojan, one of the 3 seniors on this team, who has saved her best for last, having a career year, hitting .355. And came up big in that win over Oregon in the conference tournament, smashing one off the scoreboard in College Park, Maryland.
See Peyton Tanner fall behind 2-0, unable to locate 2 curveballs, but gets back in the count there. She's going to throw mid to upper 60s. We're going to see a lot of curve and change. She can go with the screw drop rise, but limiting the free passes and efficiency are what Coach Glenn Moore want to see from her, especially if she's going to be able to carry the load here in this regional for the Baylor Bears. She joked with us, Alex, I've had a decent changeup, but I never really was a changeup pitcher, and joked with my family and coming back to school that, hey, I'll be a changeup pitcher, and sure enough, her changeup has been a difference maker.
Well, this is there, and the leadoff hitter for the Badgers, Bojan, reaches with a walk. Tanner, talk about carrying the load. She's thrown nearly 60% of Baylor's innings over the last month or so, and that number has elevated even more than that over the past few weeks. Here's Hillary Blomberg, home run hitting machine for the Badgers, and has tied the program's single season record with 15. Earning the nickname Bomber. She's just 9 shy of matching the all-time program record and still has another year to go.
It's so cool to be able to talk to her and get her perspective on it.
Sends one to right center. We can save that story, Pat. We got plenty of time this weekend to wax poetic.
Well, I think there's something to say when you grow up being a fan of a certain university, as Blomberg did of Wisconsin, Kagan Marshall did of Baylor, and then being able to actually fulfill the dream to wear that uniform. And again, we'll get back to it on the record book, but then keep your name with that university for a while. That's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, she takes a lot of pride in that as the throw back over to first from Flores. Another power hitter at the plate with Jacqueline Showalter, who's behind 0-1. Badgers freshman record, 13 home runs on the season. Over the last 3 weeks, not many better in the Big Ten. During that span, hitting .524 and leading the entire conference in RBIs. But behind, now 1-2.
Alex, after that pickoff throw down to first, one thing for anyone watching to look at, Abby Flores, a left-handed catcher. So for her, that's an easy throw. It is not the sidearm pick that we see from right-handed catchers.
There's a base knock for Showalter. The Badgers in business.
Well, ahead in the count, Peyton Tanner just throws this pitch too good. That is right down the middle, and Showalter able to just get barrel there and drive an off-speed pitch out to left field. Both teams starting to put runners on early in this game. The big key will be who can cash in first.
Badgers will send over a pinch runner. Sydney Spear taking over at first. Bojan is still at second. And here comes the cleanup hitter, Kendra Lewis, sophomore, who's been one of the toughest players to strike out in the nation on the season. Lewis Just 5 strikeouts compared to 27 walks. See how she fares here against Tanner. And takes ball 1. So Baylor had 2 on in the top half of the inning, both in scoring position. Here's Wisconsin with runners on first and second after a walk and a single. Third playing in. There's a strike from Peyton Tanner.
It's always interesting this time of year because you have all week to scout for your first game, and then obviously if you advance the games after.
Lewis rips one, snared over at first by Cran and tags the bag. Heck of a double play. And the Bears force the Badgers to strand 2 as Leah Cran flashes the leather.
Well, this absolutely a defensive gem for Baylor. Lewis pulls this one hard, and Cran able to tag the bag with her glove. Incredible defense, momentum for Baylor heading into the dugout.
Look, we didn't know who was going to be #1. This is probably one of the first years where it was not clear. You share a little bit later. Holly Rowe has that interview led by Sydney Trujillo. That action will get.
It's one of the best parts of the postseason, seeing the reactions from teams all over the nation. When you look at the Bears' tournament resume, 41st in the RPI. After that selection was announced, Glenn Moore said there was a huge sense of relief in the room. Said you could even feel it. There was some tension at practice before that announcement. They weren't sure what was going to happen. I mean, listen, he told us last year he felt like they had the best team in program history and they didn't even make the tournament. This year, Glenn Moore says the youngest squad he's ever had, 16 underclassmen. And that speaks to the job he has done as a head coach in his 26th season, guiding this team here into the postseason.
Glenn Moore has been able to weather adversity year after year, whether it's injuries, a lot of graduations. As we mentioned, the youngest team he's probably ever had in his tenure right here this year. But because he can weather it, then it eventually trickles down to the team, and we talked to them. They said, we've been through adversity, we've been tested, we believe that we're prepared for this. Obviously, they were excited to head just right down the road.
Kagan Marshall leading things off here in the second. Glenn Moore, 17 regionals, 7 super regional appearances, 4 trips to the Women's College World Series. He's the winningest head coach in any sport in Baylor history. And you talk about the youth on this team, that is quite evident.
When you talk about 18 underclassmen, And even those 11 sophomores, quite a few are transfers in. So Coach Moore just starting to rebuild. But he said this bid into the regionals, very promising for him and his staff moving forward as the portal opens up and they hit the road recruiting this summer.
One of those underclassmen reaches to lead off the second, the walk to Kagan Marshall. Here is Olivia Bittner, another freshman out of North Texas, the Denton area. She takes strike one. It's a Baylor team that has just had so much bad luck with injuries over the past few years. We mentioned the talent Glenn Moore thought he had on his team last year. But really over the past 3 to 5 seasons, the injuries have been through the roof. A lot of ACL tears. And tack on players graduating, a number of them from last year's team, a few hitting the portal. And it's almost an entirely new squad as that one foul off the bat of Bittner.
Well, yeah, and with the portal, the way it's become more and more popular when you get blindsided by athletes leaving and you've recruited based on who you think you're going to have, because they do go recruit the next class of freshmen based on who's going to graduate when they get there, right? And all of a sudden you have holes that you need to fill, and it's across the country, but Coach Moore trying to do the job of bridging those gaps. I'll tell you though, Alex, at the beginning of the year, Coach Glenn Moore was high on both these freshmen that are hitting back-to-back. Kagan Marshall, who's been in the starting lineup most of the season, but Olivia Bittner, he says she has some power that once she can get going, it's going to be unbelievable for Baylor fans to watch.
Sends one to left, and Crane is there. One away. There comes Abby Flores with a runner still over at first. Flores, a junior catcher, Beaumont native, driven in 5 runs on the season. A couple of walks so far issued by Jacobson in the circle for Wisconsin, and a double allowed through the first 7 batters. First pitch ball.
Well, coming into today, Baylor entered with a 24% chase rate. That was the 4th highest in the Big 12, but they've been fairly disciplined here against Jacobson, forcing her in the strike zone. The key now will be for them to adjust to that changeup. We saw Bittner fly it out. But can they adjust to the off speed and then force Jacobson's hand?
It's also going to be interesting to see the cat and mouse game between this fast Baylor team and the catcher behind the dish, Blomberg. We mentioned Baylor's 2nd in the Big 12 in stolen bases. Another runner over at first with still just 1 away in Marshall. Blomberg, meanwhile, has thrown out 12 base runners this year. And that'll be an interesting battle as that last pitch from Jacobson finds the strike zone. It's already the 3rd walk issued by Jacobson to the first 8 batters.
Well, that 3rd walk for Baylor so far, it's most in the last 10 games. So you can tell they have a plan to be patient against Jacobson. They're just 9th in the Big 12 in walks.
Another freshman for Baylor at the plate taking ball 1. Gianna Gussman is a top 15 recruit in the country coming out of Riverside, California. 14 RBIs in her first season. And Wisconsin will call time to talk things over in the circle.
Well, the way this is going for Baylor, and not surprised that they aren't ranked higher in walks, because when you're an offense that wants to use your speed, you're going to try to attack normally earlier in the count. But with the scouting, it looks like Baylor, knowing Jacobson's going to try to work around the zone and get you to chase, they're being extremely patient, which means they don't have to force the action. Jacobson's giving them the bases, but now with runners on, they do have to figure out, okay, how are we going to cash in on the pitch that is around the plate?
Shelby Jacobson did have 108 strikeouts coming into today, but conversely also had 88 walks on the season. You can see the breakdown, more balls than strikes right now.
And we talked about it. The little bit of an inexperience first 3 years. You come in, not are you only are you coming in to play. It's your first regional. It's in a big environment. You know that this is, you know, a win and go on game.
Comes back with a strike.
I think on paper you put these two teams next to each other and very comparable. So this is going to be a very interesting game. I really think it's going to be on momentum, or if you're Wisconsin vibes, who can take control of that first.
Jacobson now ahead of Gusman 1-2. And Shelby Jacobson, 6 total victories in her first 3 years in Madison, 14 this season. Big pitch coming up. Swing and a miss. And there is strikeout number 1 on the day for Shelby Jacobson.
Well, runners in scoring position. The senior steps up here, uses this screwball in the outer half. It's tailing away from Guzman. Guzman unable to get a piece of that, as you see that just tail off the corner of the plate. Nice pitch by Jacobson.
2 outs for Brooklyn Carter as we go back to the top of the lineup. She grounded out to begin the game. This one gets past Blomberg. And for the second straight inning, runners on second and third with 2 outs for the Bears. Mix up there between the senior and the junior battery. That Healy looks on after another first pitch ball from Jacobson. The 1-0 to Carter. That one inside, nearly caught her. Jacobson threw 27 pitches in the first inning. Not quite at that number so far here in the second.
And you can tell that Baylor has a plan. We've talked about their patience, making Jacobson work, but watch when Carter gets on in the box. You also see she's right there on that chalk line. She's standing in right now, so you can tell they're getting on the plate to force her to throw inside, be ready, but also protect against that screwball right there that Carter fouled off.
Count evened up at 2. Brooklyn Carter, former transfer from Washington. Second in the Big 12 in stolen bases. Hitting .321, and this year has struck out in just 5% of her plate appearances. It's one of the best numbers in the Big 12. Taps one up the middle, Jacobson. Cool, calm, and collected in the circle. And again, the Bears strand 2 in scoring position, still scoreless here in Austin. Well, to say Wisconsin is making the most of their time in Austin would be an understatement. Went line dancing on Wednesday night. Some were prepared with the boots. Others weren't quite ready there. And then zip lining over Lake Travis. I mean, they were having a blast. And we talked about them being carefree. I think that's pretty evident right there, Cap.
Well, yeah, I think you make the most of this trip, but at the same time, Yvette Healy pointed out, hey, we're going ziplining because it's going to be hot. I want them to know how hot it's going to be at 12:30 tomorrow. But also the line dancing at the Broken Spoke, an Austin, so I guess what would hot spot?
Yeah, mainstay.
A mainstay that, man, as everything develops, the Broken Spoke has stayed true, but they found themselves there. And Ashley, their SID, also let us know they did buy some of those boots here in Texas, so they are definitely living it up.
At the very least, going away with some souvenirs. They finished 7th in the Big Ten. Got into this regional as an at-large bid. Yvette Healy posting back-to-back 30-win seasons for the first time in more than a decade. Swing and a miss there by Kaylee Whiddon. Yvette Healy mentioned, listen, she was concerned that this senior class would go their entire careers without experiencing the NCAA postseason. He's just so thrilled for those 3 seniors. They get to be a part of this action and this atmosphere. No zip lining and line dancing and all the above. You ever been zip lining?
I have. We went zip lining in St. Thomas before my wedding.
Did you ever go zip lining before a game?
No, I'm pretty sure I would have asked to like tap out of that.
You don't seem like that.
The vibes are all serious and intentful here.
Right. Swing and a miss. Good vibes from Peyton Tanner with a strikeout in the circle.
Well, Peyton Tanner working ahead of Whiddon here and uses this curveball away. Doesn't have to use her off speed, stretches the plate. You see Whiddon just going out and getting that pitch. Good first out for Peyton Tanner here in the second.
You ever been line dancing? Is that one chopped over to Tobin?
I actually have done that and at the Broken Spoke.
Never tried. I've never even put on boots. I would look like Woody from Toy Story. It's
no,
not
you
my
wouldn't.
thing.
We're going to have to go find you some cowboy boots.
Peyton Tanner so far with a much more efficient second inning after allowing a couple of base runners in the first. 2 up, 2 down. Here in the bottom of the second. First pitch strike to Riley Crane.
So many pitchers don't take into account efficiency. And when you have 1 or 2 dominant pitches and then you have to fill it maybe with your 3rd and 4th best, it's so important to get hitters out as quickly as you can. Not only does it save pitches on your arm, but it also allows hitters not to be able to see everything you're offering in their first at bat.
Fouled back by Riley Crane. Senior left fielder, one of those 3 seniors we were talking about. Taking part in the postseason for the first time.
I did like they pointed out, this senior class played here at Texas, at McCombs, in the rowdy crowd as freshmen, so they're familiar with this environment.
But set down 1, 2, 3. We will talk to the Badgers head coach Yvette Healy coming up after the break. Still scoreless here in game number 1 of the Austin Regional between the Badgers and the Bears. Now joined by Wisconsin head coach Yvette Healy. Coach, you're back in the postseason for the first time in 4 years. What was the message to your team? You know, we talked about you earlier going ziplining and line dancing this weekend. What was the message to try and make sure they played loose? Because it seems like you all been having fun leading into this weekend.
Yeah, you know, we had to get acclimated to the weather. We might as well be out in the heat and do some little hiking and see some sights here. So it's good for us to get out here a couple days and get settled in.
Coach, a little bit of a slow start, not scoring yet in this game here, but against having scouted Baylor, what is it you're going to look for your offense as this game continues?
Oh, you know, they're very similar to us. They run well. They've got good short games. So I think you've got to be able to manage the energy and the momentum of the game. And so it's just the start's just fine. We're facing a really good pitcher. I like where we're at right now, and we're just looking to build a little momentum.
I appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
Yvette Healy in her 16th season in charge of the Badgers. Also keep in mind taking part in this Austin Regional in case they do end up facing Texas. She has already played against Mike White coach teams in 3 previous regionals going back to his time with Oregon.
Yeah, she pointed that out real quick and said, you know, utmost respect, but I get into a regional with Mike White quite often.
It's old hat for her as the 2, 3, and 4 hitters leading off against Yvette Healy's team for the Baylor Bears. Faith Piper, Amber Tobin, and Leah Cran, each team with 1 hit so far. And multiple base runners on for both of these squads. Which one will break through first here in the opening contest at McCombs Field?
Baylor so far has been able to threaten the most. 4 runners in scoring position. Coming into today, just .299 with runners in scoring position as a team average. So for Glenn Moore, who's going to be the one to step up and break this open as opposed to who's just getting on base?
Well, Shelby Jacobson, behind 3-0, she's already thrown a lot of pitches. 27 pitches thrown in the first inning, 24 in the second. Finds the strike zone here, 3-1.
Not to sound like a broken record, Alex, but it's that changeup that Baylor's going to have to figure out how to take out of Jacobson's hand.
That's a foul ball. Rolls into the gap. Full count coming up. Blomberg having a good laugh over that one. Talk about this weather here. You know, for this time of the year, it's not blazing hot in Austin. For the Badgers, however, temperature's quite a bit cooler in Madison. It'll take a little bit of getting used to for them.
Well, yeah, a little bit, and thankfully, as she mentioned to us prior to going on air, doesn't have the second game, and she feels like the weather's better right now than it would be in game 2.
Nice job by Conger over at short. Winner of this game will enter the winner's bracket and face the winner of Texas and Wagner, as those 2 teams will square off later today. First pitch for that contest set for 3:30 Central. Some Texas fans taking in both contests, and wisely, for the most part, in the shade.
Everyone trying to figure out where the shade is here.
Yeah.
If you get some, you don't get up to go to the concession stand.
Stay away from those metal bleachers in the sun. It's going to leave a mark.
That was a really nice pick by Conger there on that first out. Jacobson able to get a lot of ground out here for her defense.
Decent amount of Wisconsin fans here as well, considering the trek quite a bit further than Baylor, who made the drive from Waco. The long sleeves on that's not going to last long, my friend. Oh, 0-2 coming up to Tobin. Pops it up. I want to remind you, for everything surrounding the women's college softball regionals, head to NCAA.com for the latest news, analysis, and insight. Women's College World Series begins Thursday, May 28th, noon Eastern on ESPN. And already, this is the first day of the postseason, and we are on upset alert. Kat, the last we checked, a few innings ago, Stetson was leading Florida State.
Yeah, going in the bottom of the 7th right now. Stetson up 8-3.
Wow.
With 1 out.
The Hatters.
They can hit. So they came out making a statement. Last time I checked, they had 8 runs and 11 hits, 2 home runs.
Foul.
Like I said, going into this postseason, you know who your first matchup is on Sunday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you are truly preparing and scouting over and over about what arm you think you're going to see. A lot of times it's usually pretty easy to predict which arm you're going to see. And if you can come out swinging on all cylinders right out the gate, you put a team on their heels, and Stetson took the lead early.
It's just the second game of the NCAA postseason to get underway, and already potentially unexpected result. Count 2-1 with 2 away here to Leah Cran, the cleanup hitter who walked in the first inning. Belts one to left field. Crane gets Cran, and it's a 1-2-3 third. On to the bottom half we go, scoreless between Wisconsin and Baylor. Taking a look at the 16 host sites for the regionals around the country. A big concentration in the South, the SEC. A few outliers out on the West Coast, in LA and Oregon, but for the most part, a pretty dense regional site map here in Austin. Wisconsin and Baylor kicking things off. Wisconsin, the 8th seed in their side of the bracket, the 2 seed here in the Austin Regional, taking on Baylor. And the number 2 overall seed in the nation, Texas, the defending national champions, are set to face Wagner at 4 Eastern, 3 Central to finish off day number 1 here from McCombs Field. Fans just scouting here, the Texas fans, looking at what their next opponent has to offer.
Well, I will say the ticketing this year, you got your 1 ticket for both sessions, where in years past there's been a ticket for session 1 and session 2, and on this day it would be 2 different games. So Texas fans going ahead and claiming their seats.
There you go.
Catching some action.
Staking out their territory as the first pitch misses to Danielle Lucy.
And also probably getting familiar with who they might see tomorrow. I keep going back and forth. If I were in this regional as a player, would I be excited because I'm done early because it's 2 earlier games, or would I have wanted the evening because it's a little bit cooler?
It's a good question. We had pretty cool temperatures early in the week here in Austin. It's supposed to be around 90 today, and tomorrow and Sunday. Of course, tomorrow, the big day, will have 3 games in action here from McCombs Field, and then 1, 2 if needed on the final day.
I mean, it is fairly mild temperatures for some of the postseason games we've had here in the past.
Yeah. A leadoff walk issued to Lucy. Second leadoff walk allowed today by Peyton Tanner.
And after a 1-2-3 inning on both sides of the ball, that's not what you want to see if you're Coach Glenn Moore and his staff from Tanner. Go right at 8 and 9 hole, force them to earn their way on base by swinging the bat.
Here's Hannah Conger showing bunt. The sophomore shortstop delivered one of the most clutch hits of the season, a walk-off home run against Purdue in the Big Ten tournament. First walk-off win for the Badgers in history in the conference tournament, as they ended up making it all the way to the semifinals before getting knocked off by UCLA. I mean, that was a huge conference tournament to help them get into the NCAA postseason.
Well, yeah, their win against Oregon really solidified them into the field of 64.
Conger's gotten hot at the right time of the year. The sophomore had 2 home runs in the regular season. That's it. None in the last 24 games. Swing and a miss there. She had been hot heading into today, but a strikeout victim there. Second K of the day by Peyton Tanner.
Well, Conger tried to sack bunt, but unable to get it down, and you see there Tanner allowing that ball to just spin away from the right-handed hitter. If she can keep that ball close to the plate, she's going to be able to induce a lot of swing and misses as well as fly ball outs. It has to keep it within a couple inches of the plate. She has missed fairly wide quite often today.
Back to the top of the order, Emily Bojan, who walked the first inning. Snap throw back to first as Lucy gets in there. That one gets past a diving Marshall, and here come the Badgers. Rounding second is Lucy, and Wisconsin with runners on second and third and only one away.
You see Tanner trying to use the ball away, but that's staying over the plate. Bojan does a great job of going down and getting that, driving it right past Marshall at third base. Wisconsin starting to put the barrel to the ball a little bit more, even though that ball not in the zone, over the plate. That's where, as a pitcher, have to work the corners, because even if you leave it over the middle low, hitters can go down and get it the way Bojan just did.
The senior enjoying her first appearance in the postseason, and here comes arguably the most dangerous hitter in the Wisconsin lineup, Hillary Blomberg. 15 home runs on the year, which is tied for the most in a single season in program history. Blomberg. And that is a huge second out. Certainly nowhere close to deep enough to drive in a run, so runners remain on second and third now with 2 away.
That's the best case scenario if you're Peyton Tanner, because not only is it a fly ball, but it's a fly ball in the infield, and so runners have absolutely no chance. Anything in the outfield, I think Yvette Healy may have had Lucy tagging and forcing a throw.
There's Jacqueline Showalter, the powerful freshman, 13 home runs on the year. Came up with a huge one in the Big Ten tournament. Badgers were down to their last 4 outs, trailing by 3 to Purdue when she launched a game-tying home run in a contest they would eventually win. She's had a great first season with Wisconsin. They are taking no chances with her right now. Looks like this is going to be an intentional walk to load the bases.
Oh, and interesting, you didn't pitch around Blomberg, who arguably is the best hitter in the lineup, but not taking her chance with the freshman, and it might be already. She did get a hit in her first at bat, so they feel like she's seeing the off-speed pitch, so they know that that's taken out of their hand. They're going to go ahead and put her on now to have to face Lewis.
Oh, Kat, an interesting decision. Bases loaded to face the cleanup hitter Kendra Lewis, who's hitting .336 this year. Last year, she hit .408 as an All-Big Ten first-teamer. Needless to say, a really talented hitter up in a big spot.
Well, and if you want to talk about the best barrel of the game, Kendra Lewis had the hardest hit. It just happened to be robbed by Leah Cran down the line.
Yep.
Interesting decision here, but might be assuming that Tanner can get a ground out or the easy pop fly.
.294 hitter this year with runners in scoring position, already ahead in the count 2-0. Peyton Tanner, meanwhile, has walked 3, struck out 2, and allowed a couple of hits. Wisconsin with their biggest threat of the game so far. Swing and a miss from Lewis. Six home runs on the year, 34 driven in for the sophomore. And Peyton Tanner now 1 ball away from walking in the first run of the game. Full count coming up. Lucy over at third, Bojan at second, and Showalter at first. Nowhere to put Lewis. Lewis pokes one down the line. And Lewis flies out, leaving the bases loaded. Peyton Tanner getting out of a major jam for the Bears. We'll talk to their head coach coming up next. Welcome back to the NCAA Softball Regionals presented by Capital One. Got a pitcher's duel here in Austin. 8 combined runners left on base, scoreless as we head to the 4th inning. Now joined by Baylor head coach Glenn Moore. Coach, that was a gutsy decision that last half of the inning to load the bases to face Kendra Lewis. What went into that call?
Well, I just thought it might have been a little better matchup. You know, it frees up your infield a little bit more. You got to force any bag. So just played the odds there. You know, it's kind of like pick your poison, though. Both great hitters.
Coach, your offense, you're getting runners on and in scoring position. What's the adjustment to start to capitalize on those opportunities?
Yeah, well, we've run our pitch count up early on. This is what we're hoping to do, and hopefully see more pitches, throw more off speeds than we anticipated. We just got to have better at bats when we get in those situations. First 2 innings, I think we left runners at third base. So just better at do what the game asks you to do, just better at bats in those situations.
All right, appreciate
Thank
it, Coach. Glenn Moore in his 26th season. And we talked to him yesterday saying, how have you done it? How have you adapted in this game? He said he still feels that call to help these kids day in and day out, not just on the diamond, but in life. It's just been an absolute mainstay for this program and the entire Baylor University, the winningest head coach in any sport in Bears history. Samaya Jones leading off the fourth, takes strike one. Kat, you have an upset alert for us?
Oh, we do. Stetson went ahead and closed that one out, 8-3, beating Florida State.
Wow.
And mind you,
Base hit for Jones.
Florida State entered the tournament winning 12 straight regional openers. The last time they lost was to San Diego State in 2012.
It's that time of the year. Mayhem already underway on the opening day of the regionals. So a leadoff single for Samaya Jones. And here comes the powerful freshman Kagan Marshall. Walked in the second inning. On the year, 10 home runs. First Baylor freshman to reach double-digit homers in 7 years, but drops down the bunt instead, advancing the runner Jones to second.
Well, Coach Glenn Moore, as he just mentioned to us, he's going to do what the game tells them to do, and right now they're not able to drive in all the runs, so trying to force some action on the defensive side, get Samaya Jones in scoring position.
There is Olivia Bittner, a lot of freshmen in the bottom of this lineup for Baylor, trying to come through here in the postseason, and she fouls one back.
Bittner just missed that one straight back. The key for the young hitter is to be able to know, okay, I just fouled that straight back. A changeup might be coming. Can you adjust to that speed difference? Understand what a pitcher's trying to get you to do in this situation.
Shelby Jacobson in the circle, getting close to 70 pitches on the day through just 3 1/3. Getting a little bit more efficient, though, as the game goes on. Blomberg, nice job keeping that one in front of her, as Jones had to hurry back to second.
Oh, I like that lead by Samaya Jones. She saw that it was in the dirt, took an extra couple steps, then saw it wasn't too far away from Blomberg, got herself back. But as a runner, see it in the dirt, force catcher's hand if you have to.
A 3-1 count to the 7-hitter in the lineup, Olivia Bittner. Jacobson, 3 walks, 1 strikeout, and 2 hits allowed so far. Walk number 4 for Jacobson. Well, all weekend long, the 7 Innings Live crew will keep you updated on the action from all 16 sites around the nation for this year's softball regionals. All throughout the weekend, 7 Innings Live, and already great action to talk about. We mentioned the upset in Tallahassee, who will get on the scoreboard first here in Austin. Baylor threatening yet again. This is the 3rd inning already, and they have had multiple base runners, but yet to break through against Shelby Jacobson of the Badgers. 2 on, 1 away here in the 4th.
Coach Glenn Moore going ahead and inserting a pinch runner over there at first base for Olivia Bittner. That way, Flores or Guzman able to get something to green, he can go ahead and put runners in motion.
Gigi Lindsay, sophomore. And a pinch hitter coming up as well, Casey West, who as a pinch hitter probably delivered the biggest hit of the season a few weeks ago. A pinch hit, 2-run single in the 7th inning of their upset win over Texas Tech. A monster at bat that was for the 5th-year senior. Trying to come through here in the postseason.
We got to talk to some of the Baylor players and asked, you know, who's underrated? And first they mentioned Samaya Jones, who led off this inning, but then one of them said, oh, Casey West. She just has ice in her veins. Nothing phases her. She can be 0-2, which she was.
West over to second, handled nicely by Whitten. The toss to second for 1. But the nice defense at second base by Kaylee Whitten, the sophomore. 2 away, runners on the corners.
Casey West advances Samaya Jones into scoring position. Had a hard ground ball just right at Whitten there. Communication between her and Conger, though, for the double play, not as ideal as Wisconsin would like.
Here's the freshman, Gianna Gussman, who fouls one back. Baylor has left 4 runners on so far. The Bears 0 for 6 with runners on, 0 for 5 with them in scoring position. Gussman was a strikeout victim in the second. And now Jacobson, a moment ago was 2 on with 1 away. Now she's 1 strike away from getting out of yet another jam.
She told us she doesn't really feel pressure. That heart rate doesn't go up with runners in scoring position or tight situations, so she's just continuing to make her pitches right now.
And makes another one there to end the inning. Jacobson with the strikeout. The Bears strand 2 more.
Well, Jacobson just continuing to hammer the outside part of that plate against Guzman. Able to get the big strike 3 for the Badgers.
There is nothing like the Women's College World Series.
Who will end up hoisting the trophy this year? It is wide open. You talk about the last 4 programs to win it all. Obviously, the Longhorns last year. Before that, Oklahoma went on a run. And prior to that stretch, UCLA and Florida State. But you talk about the parity this season, as wide open as we can remember in recent memory, Kat.
Yeah, there's no clear-cut favorite, in my opinion.
I'm not going to put you on the spot, by the way. I know I've done that before.
Well, Alabama with the 1 seed, but Texas just upset them in the SEC tournament. Oklahoma with the 3 seed, who traditionally has been able to storm through the postseason, but has been beatable this year as well. We just talked about it. Florida upset by Stetson here in the first round of regionals. So truly is up in the air this year on how this postseason is going to play out. Who really is even going to make the World Series?
Some publications mentioning the odds-on favorites as Oklahoma and Texas Tech. We'll see.
Definitely can't forget the Red Raiders.
11 seed is. We begin the bottom half of inning number 4. 5, 6, and 7 hitters leading off for Wisconsin. Popped up the foul territory from Kaylee Whitten, who struck out in the second inning. Both of these teams have threatened, but the pitchers Peyton Tanner for Baylor and Shelby Jacobson for Wisconsin have done their part so far.
We talk about the vibe staying loose for Jacobson, but Peyton Tanner, she almost gets better as there's pressure put on. Saw her get out of the big bases loaded jam and just cool, calm, and collected as she came off the field.
Transfer from Tennessee. Appeared in 9 games for the Lady Vols last year, a couple of starts for a team that made it back to the Women's College World Series. Whitten lifts one to left center. Carter's there. Tanner last year for Tennessee threw a perfect game against Delaware State, but I mean, you look at that staff, she was stuck in a logjam behind Carlin Pickens, Sage Margetko, Aaron Newer as well, who's had another phenomenal season, and felt like it was time to make a move and ended up in Waco.
Well, you can tell Peyton Tanner throws in the mid to upper 60s, so there's a lot of speed there. Able to locate a curveball extremely well. You have the off speed that changes hitters' timing. So really just trying to find a place that she can be one of the go-tos, and she found that as she went into the portal. And sometimes you get in a staff, and when other people heat up, it's not about what you can't do. It's more just about what they are doing, and if you don't fit in that picture, go find yourself a home that you do fit in, and Peyton Tanner has found that in Baylor.
90 strikeouts on the year with the Bears. Mentioned threw a perfect game last year for Tennessee. A few hours after perfection, her then teammate Carlin Pickens threw a no-hitter against Indiana State as part of that doubleheader. And as you mentioned, now it's all on her shoulders as the ace for Baylor, especially late in the year, has really taken on that role. And strikeout number 3 here in the opening game of the regional for Peyton Tanner.
Well, Tanner hammering the outer part of the plate, curveball, curveball, foul ball, and then she freezes Bark. This is screwball on the inner half and absolutely freezes the righty. Nice second out there by Peyton Tanner.
Misses with the first pitch to Riley Crane, senior left fielder out of Tucson. Each team, no runs, 2 hits, no errors. When you looked at this matchup on paper, Wisconsin with a lot of power, Baylor with a lot of speed. So far, no home runs, no stolen bases, just pitching and defense, and that continues here in the bottom of the 4th inning, scoreless now after 4 in Austin. Welcome back to Austin, Texas. We got horses, longhorns. It's nothing new. Kat, you're a Texas native. I mean, this is old hat to you. This is just like seeing traffic every day down 6th Street in Austin. This is the usual.
There's always horses and longhorns going down the main street. No, but that is a staple in the postseason. He brings his longhorn, he brings his dog. He will circle McCombs Field a couple times.
This one off the bat of Brooklyn Carter. Into left field. Longhorns, the softball team, will take the field later on today. First pitch set for 3 p.m. Central for Eastern against the Wagner Seahawks. They're the defending national champions waiting in the wings.
You never know, they might invite him to come on the field too. Take a lap around.
Kavan there. At Texas, the number 2 overall seed. Shelby Jacobson on the circle. There's Tegan Kavan, 21-4 on the year. Got a chance to speak with her yesterday. A number of very calm, very even-keeled pitchers taking part in this Austin Regional. Tegan Kavan being one of those. Another Shelby Jackson yesterday. You would never know they were in the postseason. Talking to them is just business as usual. I guess just that's part of the secret to their success.
Well, so many of them will talk about not making the game bigger than it is. And while it's an important game because you're in postseason and this is what you dream of when you're a little girl playing, is to be able to play on TV, and in postseason, you still have to go execute the same way you always have. And so when you're able to keep that mindset, it really helps you, especially in the circle in big situations.
There's a 1-out walk to Faith Piper. For Shelby Jackson, playing with fire a little bit. Talk about the free passes, 5 walks now for the senior, but it has not come back to hurt her thus far. Amber Tovin 0 for 2. First pitch ball. Jacobson, threw more than 50 pitches in the first 2 innings. Settled down after that, but now her teammates will go out to talk with her in the circle, as well as her head coach, Yvette Healy. Jacobson, more than 80 pitches thrown on the day, but a big chunk of that coming in the first 2 frames, Kat.
And you could tell, Coach Moore told us that their plan was to try to make her pitch count rise, make her throw a lot of pitches, and they did not. But then you see the middle innings, she's able to settle in. They became a little bit more aggressive. We saw Brooklyn Carter, first pitch of this inning, go ahead and fly out. But Coach Moore wanting them to work the count a little bit. But at the same time, if you get a pitch you can drive, you have to be able to be on time with it. And I think that's the difference, is when they are seeing a pitch in the zone, they haven't been on time to be able to get that big hit.
Tovin, 100 career RBIs. Former top 10 recruit. Foul territory it goes, and that will find the stands. Down near the Osterman seats, right? Usually that area.
Well, we're a little closer to us, but yes, in that first row normally.
I mean, you're pretty much usually on the field. You have the best seats in the house for good reason. That's a bold move there, going with jeans on a 90-degree day.
It is a bold move. Not sure I could pull that one off.
A dribbler over to short, on to second in time as they get Piper. So two-way runner over at first, and here comes the cleanup hitter, Leah Cran. Who walked in the first inning and flew out to end the third.
Oh, interesting there. I thought that ball was slow enough hit that Piper should have been able to reach second, that the only play they would have had was across to first, which I thought would have been close too. This is where, as a base runner, with runs being at a minimum, you have to make sure you get good jumps so that way you can get yourself in scoring position.
This is one of the fastest teams in the Big 12, second in stolen bases in the conference. But we really haven't seen them attempt to steal at all against Hillary Blomberg behind the dish so far. Obviously now in a two-out situation, most likely not going to see that. Blomberg a very good arm, and they are paying her a lot of respect so far. 2-1. Leah Cran, a couple of years ago, suffered a season-ending knee injury, but battled right back. And this year looking better than ever, leading the team in extra base hits, most doubles by a Bear in 4 seasons. Blomberg keeps that one in front of her. The throw to second, not in time. A close call, but Tobin beats it out. And she is now in scoring position.
Well, this ball gets away from Blomberg, but not very far, but a nice throw. And if Tobin doesn't slide to the back part of the bag, she is out with that throw, but a great slide by Tobin to force Conger to have to reach and tag the senior in there safely.
3-1 to Cran, and we go full. Baylor has had their opportunities, but they are 0 for 8 with runners on and 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. It's a point of emphasis for both of these coaches coming through with runners on either second or third. And it misses. Walk number 6 delivered by Jacobson, and the top of the 5th continues. Now 2 on for Baylor.
Well, Jacobson has thrown quite a few pitches that have issued walks. That one probably the closest one, called ball 4. She thought she had that. I think it missed just a tad bit outside.
First pitch ball to Samaya Jones, a dangerous hitter, singled in the 4th inning, hit 300 in conference play, and her teammates called her their secret weapon heading into this regional. Has speed, has some pop in her bat. See what she does with the 1-0. Ropes it foul.
And you like that she's ready to swing, and that's the second time. Leah Cran was 2-0 ahead in the count, didn't take a strike, swung because it was something she thought she could drive. So Baylor's starting to get their timing when they are in hitters' counts. Right now, Baylor runner in scoring position for the 4th time out of 5 innings, looking for Samaya Jones to help push a run across.
Big called strike 2 for Jacobson, who is up over 90 pitches on the day. 6 walks, couple of strikeouts, 2 hits allowed. Trying to pull off another Houdini act here in the opening game of the Austin Regional. Jones to right field, right at Lewis, and the Badgers do it again. Baylor strands 2 more scoreless in the 5th. The Austin Regional underway, still tied here in game number 1 between Wisconsin and Baylor. The winner moves into the winner's bracket on Saturday to face whoever comes out victorious between the defending national champions, Texas and Wagner. The Longhorns will take on the Seahawks at about 3 p.m. Central today, coming up after the conclusion of this contest. The story of this one, pitching and defense, Baylor 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. The Badgers 0 for 3 in those situations. Wisconsin trying to break through here as we begin the bottom of the 5th inning in Austin. Just like we thought, Cat, a pitcher's duel.
That 100% what we predicted here. But you do have to tip your hat. Both pitchers have been able to get themselves out of jams. They both stayed pretty consistent as far as inning by inning, attacking the strike zone, getting weak outs. There have really only been a couple even hard-hit balls that have resulted in outs. But both sides have had their opportunities.
Danielle Lucy. Twins had to wait a while, 1 away. 5 in a row set down now by Peyton Tanner. When you look back at the beginning of the game, 2 of the first 3 batters reached for Wisconsin. It looked like, okay, is this going to be a rough day for Tanner? But really, she has settled down nicely, the ace for the Bears. There's Hannah Conger. Tanner struck her out in the 3rd.
Well, and even escaping that first inning, it was a line shot down the line that if Leah Cran doesn't snag it, it might score the run. But Leah Cran snags it for a double play, and that was probably the best barreled up ball we've seen by either team.
Tanner with 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. 2 hits allowed, a single and a double. 10 in the Big 12 in strikeouts this year. 91 strikeouts, has thrown 93 walks, but he's kind of managed that so far today, and now battles back to even the count.
Oh, and she's able to use that curveball and that off-speed pitch right there back to back to get herself back into this at bat. That's huge because that's 2 different speeds that you just changed a hitter's timing with. Now opens up for her with 2 strikes.
Full count coming up to Conger. Talking about earlier, 2 home runs in the regular season for Conger, but went yard twice in the last 2 games of the Big Ten tournament against UCLA and Oregon. Seventh pitch of the at-bat on the way from Tanner. And there will be an 8th.
And at this point in the game, you would expect for at-bats to start to go a little longer as both teams are getting ready to start their 3rd time through the order. They know what each pitcher is throwing at them, what their tendencies have been.
And this has to be right in your wheelhouse. Pitcher's duel on the opening day of the postseason here at McCombs Field, your old stomping grounds.
Can't ask for anything better.
Beautiful weather, not too hot for this time of the year. For game 1, right now Conger and Tanner locked in the duel, and a very important at bat when you look at it, just 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th inning. After this, you go back up to the top of the lineup from Wisconsin, and some lethal hitters, and even Conger, as we talked about, has done damage late in the season. Payoff pitch. And a hard-earned walk by Hannah Conger in the 9th spot for the Badgers.
That was a pretty pitch there by Peyton Tanner. That missed. It didn't miss by much.
You look like you're not buying the call.
I think I might have been tossing some hands or been over or something. That was a pretty off-speed pitch by Tanner there in that full count.
There is a called strike to Emily Bojan, who has reached twice, walked to start off the game for Wisconsin offensively, and doubled in the third. And the extra base hit of the day so far for the Badgers. Wisconsin came in with a powerful offense, averaging nearly 6 runs per contest. Been held to 2 hits against Tanner.
For Baylor, they come in heavily tested in the latter part of season. We talked about it. The last 2 weeks, 7 games against ranked opponents, 4 against Texas Tech, 3 against Oklahoma State. They got
a strikeout right there. Big out number 2, Bojan with a swing and a miss.
No, it's the curveball still for Peyton Tanner. She's able to spot it for a strike, and then when she's ahead in the count here, she spots it a little bit farther out and gets Bojan swinging. Great job stair-stepping laterally with that curveball.
Come up with the strikeouts at the right time. Tanner with 4 Ks. And here is Hillary Blomberg, the Wisconsin native, was born in Madison, raised about 15 minutes away in Verona. Die-hard Badgers fans, and coming through here in the postseason. Sliding into second with a 2-out double, and Badgers in business.
Oh, that pitch just over the heart of the plate, and Blomberg able to absolutely crush that. That's the hardest hit ball of the game so far. But Samaya Jones plays that well off the wall.
This top part of the order coming through with extra base hits. Badgers with runners on second and third. And Jacqueline Showalter due up. Remember, in almost this exact same situation, they walked Showalter to load the bases with 2 outs to get to Kendra Lewis, and it paid off for Glenn Moore. Do you think we see the same exact strategy here?
He may be talking one defensively. Are they going to try to maybe pick or back pick Abby Flores? Remember, left-handed, she can take a side throw down to third base, but at the same time might be telling Peyton Tanner, hey, we're not necessarily intentionally walking her, but if you get behind in the count, we're not going to give her anything she can reach. In that case, the unintentional intentional walk.
What a first season for Showalter, setting the Wisconsin freshman record with 13 home runs. And over the last 3 weeks, led the entire Big Ten in RBIs. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Going right after her this time.
And there are times that in pressure moments as a freshman, despite the season you have, you try to do too much, and that might be what Baylor's banking on right now.
Doesn't chase that one. Showalter has already hit the 4th most home runs in a single season in Badgers history. Trying to come through in her biggest game of the year, showing patience there. So count goes 2-1.
Well, you can tell Peyton Tanner throwing that curveball. We saw Showalter go overly aggressive first pitch, but Tanner continuing to keep it out there, not necessarily bringing it back to the corner.
Swing and a miss. A big strike again from Tanner. Sophomore righty ready to go, as is Showalter. Chased it. A huge strikeout for Peyton Tanner to keep the game scoreless.
The sophomore has been playing with fire all game long, but none bigger here than the Badgers freshman power hitter, strike 3, and we see some passion from Baylor.
to Oklahoma City. We are into the postseason.
Mayhem underway as day number 1 of the NCAA softball regionals around the country. Hot day, but not too bad here at Austin. The umbrella's out. The defending national champion Texas Longhorns will take the field later today at 3 p.m. Central against Wagner. Right now, a scoreless battle between Wisconsin and Baylor. This is the first time all season either team has entered the 6th inning locked in a scoreless tie. Combined, these two teams average more than 10 runs per contest. But a different story so far today, Kat.
Yeah, both teams being held at bay, and both teams have threatened, just haven't been able to cash in. So both pitchers clamping down when it matters most.
Hagan Marshall. Whitten is there, 1 away. Some defensive changes for Wisconsin. Mackenzie Foster taking over in left field, and Crane moving from left to right to replace Lewis. Don't want to jinx it, but both defenses have been perfect so far. Very impressive. Of course, we know what that means.
You said it. Putting all fingers at you.
Here comes Olivia Bittner, who walked in the 4th inning and flew out in the 2nd. Baylor with just 2 hits so far. Second batter of the game, Faith Piper, delivered a double. They got a single in the 4th inning off Jacobson. And that is it. Up to 97 pitches, the senior. 6 walks, couple of strikeouts. But just continuing to battle. Now we talk about that calm demeanor, where that really pays off in situations like we've seen inning after inning today, when Baylor has threatened over and over and the pressure just hasn't gotten to it.
Well, she hasn't cracked at all. Every time Baylor has a runner at third, she finds a way to get out of it. Her defense, as you mentioned, has been able to make the plays behind her, but nothing has really even been a tough play for their defense in those situations.
Beat Oregon, huge win in the Big Ten tournament. Was in the circle for that comeback victory against Purdue as well. And due to those efforts, named to the Big Ten All-Tournament team. No Badger players named to any of the All Big Ten regular season teams, and that was certainly bulletin board material for this Wisconsin program entering the weekend. Bittner over to second, grabbed by Whitten. She has been rock solid at second all game.
An extremely hard ground ball off the bat of Bittner as she was able to sit back on a changeup.
Two away for Abby Flores, the junior catcher. Celebrating her birthday in a few days. Monday, trying to give her team an early present here, locked in an opening battle between the Badgers and the Bears. Wisconsin, the 8th seed on their side of the bracket, and the number 2 seed in this Austin regional. Baylor seeded 3rd in this regional.
Flores able to lay off 2 back-to-back off-speed pitches. You can see Jacobson starting to mix that changeup in more here late in the game against Baylor. Starting to locate it a little bit lower in the zone as well.
Delivers strike 1. Has earned a walk in the second inning. He chops one over to second. Whitten automatic. A 1-2-3 inning worked by Jacobson and the Badgers here in Austin. Wisconsin coming up to bat here in the sixth inning, but all game long they've had their opportunities robbed with 2 on in the first inning. And then in the third inning, Kat, they had the bases loaded but got nothing out of it.
Yeah, they were able to get the easy fly ball, and then in the fifth, they threatened again. And this time, Peyton Tanner with the big strikeout of the freshman stud, Showalter. Baylor has been able to escape those jams. On the flip side, Wisconsin looking to try to figure out how do they break through against Peyton Tanner in this defense.
6 left on for the Badgers. Hey, the Bears have had opportunities as well. They've left 8 on. Who can break through first? For the Badgers, it will be the 4, 5, and 6 hitters coming up here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Again, whoever's victorious in this one moves on to the winner's bracket to take on the winner of Texas and Wagner in the first game tomorrow. Longhorns will face the Seahawks coming up in just a bit here from McCombs Field as Kendra Lewis swung and missed for strike 1.
I'm not sure what Yvette Healy is arguing about.
Lewis 0 for 2 so far. She was that batter that was robbed over at first base by Cran with 2 on. In the first inning. Does not go around there. Today's umpires, Smokey Eds, Carlos Guzman, Matt Johnson, and Aaron Goldman. Full crew on hand for the postseason. Swing and a miss. Strike 2.
An off-speed pitch starting to heat up for Peyton Tanner right now. I was expecting off-speed pitch number 3 right there. See if you can get Kendra Lewis swinging at it again.
Does not get the call or the swing.
Trying to use that screwball away to right-handed hitters. Starts it just a little too far out there.
And loses her. The walk issued to Kendra Lewis. Want to remind you, all weekend long, the 7 Innings Live crew will keep you updated on the action from all 16 sites around the country. In this year's NCAA softball regionals, we've already seen crazy action and upset early. Second game of the regional, Stetson takes down Florida State handily, an 8-3 win by the Hatters.
Stetson able to pull off that one. Everything else so far, top seeds have been in control.
Attention please, pitch runner for Wisconsin.
Gainesville, Georgia Tech is up on Texas State 2-1. Texas State is the 2 seed in that regional, so that's the only other real upset right now on the scoreboard.
While Wisconsin sends in a pinch runner over at first, Ava Perrin. Here's Kaylee Whitten dropping down the bunt. The throw over to first, and it goes off the glove of Cran. Perrin was late to head to third, but still slides in there safely. That gets away from the third baseman. The throw home, and she is out at the plate. What a wild sequence to keep the game scoreless here in Austin.
Well, this, an easy sack bunt, and Kagan Marshall throws this just a little bit high, but Faith Piper tips off her glove. As you mentioned, the runner took a late jump, then dives into third, and with that overthrow tries to go home, but Marshall able to recover. But again, no one covering third either, so Whitten moves all the way around to third with just one out.
You know, the coaches were telling us this time of the year usually comes down to fundamentals. That's it. Whoever makes the first mistake or makes the most mistakes, usually it ends up costing them in the postseason. And that one nearly came back to haunt Baylor. They do get the out at home, but keep in mind Wisconsin still with a runner over at third and just one away for Olivia Bark. Perrin back in the dugout after getting thrown out at home, but the Badgers still threatening.
Well, now Glenn Moore making a change. Sending Jensen Vianney out to left field. Defensive replacement, Vianney probably with a stronger arm, so if there's a sac fly in territory where they can possibly gun her at home, going with a better arm there behind home plate, or excuse me, out in left field.
And coming up to bat with the go-ahead run over at third will be Olivia Bark, the junior. For the mainstay in the infield for the Badgers throughout her 3 years, more than 150 starts. Entered the day hitting better than 300. 74 runs driven in and trying to come through in the biggest at bat of her career. One and one. Bark 0 for 2, struck out in the fourth inning, grounded out in the second. Shows bunt, drops it down, the runner heading home, and Wisconsin has grabbed the first lead of the regional. The Badgers finally break through in the bottom of the sixth inning.
Well, if you watched Wisconsin softball, you know the squeeze play is something Yvette Healy uses quite a bit, and as soon as Peyton Tanner stood up to toss that overhand, Wisconsin had their first run. That's a play you have to stay low, shovel underhand, and give Abby Flores a chance to apply the tag. Every time Wisconsin has made an upset in a regional, that squeeze play has come into play. They did it against Oklahoma a handful of years ago with 2 outs and 2 strikes, so Yvette Healy will pull that card at any point in time.
We had talked about this being the first time all year both of these teams had entered the sixth inning locked in a scoreless tie. Wisconsin finally takes advantage after an error in the previous at-bat by the Bears. And even though Baylor threw out that runner Perrin at home,
the runner at third base left on time. That call is being challenged by Wisconsin.
So we do have our first challenge of the
Baylor.
regional issued by Baylor.
Well, Baylor going to make sure that Combs over there at third didn't take off before the pitch.
And another look over at third.
She's actually a little bit late, which smartly waiting to make sure the ball gets down. I think this is going to be confirmed. Ball was well past Peyton Tanner's front knee before she ever takes off, so Wisconsin going to be in the clear.
So again, the ruling on the field, the runner did not leave early. Glenn Moore issuing the challenge, our first challenge of the contest. If he were to lose this challenge, Baylor would have one remaining. If he wins it, if he is successful, he gets to keep it. A crucial call in such a close ball game here in Austin.
Well, this is where you pull out all the cards. You have to find a way to win in advance, right? And so Yvette Healy saying, hey, if we're not able to drive them in right now, we're going to force Baylor to have to make a play at the plate. You see it over and over. As soon as Peyton Tanner stands up, that allows a runner to be safe. You have to stay low and shovel that quickly. But for Baylor, you challenge this because why not? In the event that she possibly did leave early, then you win it. You get an out. Completely different situation at hand for you.
And you're down to your last 3 outs once we hit the 7th inning regardless. Let's see what the call is.
After review, the call on the field has been confirmed. Baylor still has one challenge left in the game.
Call is confirmed. It stands. Announcement by Smokey Eds. Baylor down to their last challenge. Bark over at first. Still just one away in the bottom of the 6th inning, and Riley Crane coming up. Well, it looks like we'll have a pinch hitter, Addison Weary, freshman out of Seymour, Wisconsin. So Wisconsin, again, will be 3 outs away from moving into the winner's bracket once we hit the next inning. Left field, right at Vienne, the new left fielder. 2 away, and of course in a game like this, the lone run that has been scored is unearned. Just a wild sequence moments ago here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Right now, well, they changed it from initially 1 error to 2. Now the Bears defense, which had been so good up until this frame. So 2 away for Danielle Lucy. And she takes ball 1.
Well, 2 overthrows in 1 play. So not standard for Baylor, and it just shows as soon as Wisconsin put pressure on, they sped up and were unable to continue to maintain the composure. And probably why Yvette Healy also put the squeeze on. Hey, they're already kind of in a panic situation after that play. Let's go ahead and force them to continue to have to make plays.
Wisconsin making their first appearance in an NCAA regional in 4 years. Now on the verge of picking up their first win of the postseason here in the 2026 regional. Tanner has battled out in the circle all day long for the Bears, and here is pitch number 100 from the sophomore righty. He's given up 3 hits, again that 1 run unearned, 5 strikeouts, and 5 walks for the transfer from Tennessee. Lucy to right field. And here we go, the Bears down to their last 3 outs. Baylor will have the 9 1-2 hitters coming up in the 7th. Wisconsin 3 outs away from moving into the winner's bracket here in Austin. Baylor will send up the 9, 1, and 2 hitters in the top of the 7th inning, and a pinch hitter to lead off the inning in place of Jana Gussman will be the sophomore Savannah Pogue, the Crawford, Texas native. Coming up in a huge spot, just 4 hits all season, but they could use one here down to their final 3 outs of the day. What a performance so far by Shelby Jacobson in the circle, the senior from Chicago. Has fought hard out there despite 6 walks, no runs allowed, just 2 hits, and a couple of strikeouts to boot. Chopped over to third. 1 away. 3 consecutive groundouts induced by Jacobson, who was looking rocky in the early innings but has settled down over the last 2.
Jacobson really has been able to come back in the count despite still working lower part of the zone, not getting the calls below the knees. They're able to trust that curveball, that off speed a little bit better.
This is to Brooklyn Carter, the speedster, who they have kept off the bases, 0 for 3. Second in the Big 12 this year in stolen bases. And they just haven't allowed her to reach. Watches that one miss. Carter, the former transfer from Washington, hitting .317 on the season, was emotional. We talked to her yesterday about this being her final go-round. Trying to play the role of hero here in the 7th. There's strike 1.
Yeah, Carter talking about not wanting to be done playing yet. Wants to be able to prolong this as long as possible. Has been part of this postseason in her career with Washington, her first 2 years.
This has been a Baylor team known for their comebacks this season, but down to their last out after the grab by Bark. Defense for the Badgers coming up big.
Well, Carter slices this one hard, but just right at Bark. Well positioned there to make that play.
So it'll be up to Faith Piper, who has reached twice. This Baylor team 4 wins this year when trailing, entering the 7th, but again down to their final out of the opening contest to the Austin Regional. Piper doubled back in the 1st inning and walked in the 5th. Sophomore out of Katy, Texas.
I think despite that being a strike called by Smokey Eads behind home plate, Aaron Goldman, I believe, called an illegal pitch.
So the count is 1-0 instead of the reverse. Make it 2-0. Piper has been one of the team's most impactful hitters this year. 12 doubles on the season. A .309 hitter for a squad that at times has been looking desperately for offense. Slices one foul and past a diving Foster as the game continues. Baylor now down to their final strike. Great effort by Foster, who came in last inning as a defensive replacement. One-two coming up from Shelby Jacobson, the senior. Pitch number 115 on the day. Will it be her last? Count evened up with 2 away. And there it is, Shelby Jacobson with strike number 2, and she is one strike away from picking up the biggest victory of her career. They had her on the ropes at times earlier today, but now looking to finish off the Bears in the opener. But Piper sends it towards the gap, and it'll drop in between Lucy and Foster. The Bears have life here in the 7th.
Faith Piper, looking at her last strike, shortens up this swing and able to just drive it left center. And despite the chase by Lucy and Foster, she gets that to split the 2 outfielders. Right now, Baylor looking 1 hit away from tying this game, and it's coming down to their senior, Amber Tobin.
Second double of the contest for Piper. She represents the tying run with 2 outs in the 7th. Here is Amber Tobin, the senior shortstop. Swinging away, and that one past Conger, and Baylor will tie the game as Piper comes home to score. What a rally yet again this year by the Cardiac Kids from Waco.
Oh, backs against the wall, the senior delivers. You can tell she's looking for an outside pitch. She goes with this just out of the reach of Conger. Faith Piper scores easily, and Amber Tobin just passing the bat.
They had 2 hits all game in the first 6 innings. They have 2 doubles here in the 7th. And as we said, 4 victories this year when trailing entering the 7th. They now have the go-ahead run at second, and Wisconsin will talk things over.
Well, yeah, Wisconsin was 1 strike away from tying the fewest hits they've ever given up in a game. They gave up 2 to BYU in 2013 and had 2 with Faith Piper looking down at her last strike. Back-to-back doubles. But it's when their backs have been against the wall that Baylor makes things happen.
Glenn Moore called this the youngest team he's ever had 18 underclassmen, but it was the senior, one of the few, Amber Tobin, coming up with their biggest hit of the season so far. The game-tying double with 2 outs in the 7th inning. Well, here comes Leah Cran, the cleanup hitter, who has reached twice, walked in the 1st inning against Jacobson and walked in the 5th. The junior first baseman out of Corpus Christi. Jacobson misses.
Cran has 2 walks on the day, so she has made Jacobson work. That curveball there way out of the zone. And Cran, similar to other hitters, the toes on the chalk. They're forcing Jacobson to really execute that outer half well, but at the same time, if it's left, they're ready to drive it, taking away that inner corner.
120 pitches in this Texas heat. For the senior from Chicago, who's on the verge of picking up the biggest victory of her career. Instead, it's a brand new ball game as Cran chops one foul. Well, Texas and Wagner were set to get underway at 3 p.m. Central. That's going to get pushed back until approximately about a half hour after the conclusion of this one. Texas had to make room for Wisconsin. Wisconsin had to get back in the bullpen.
Kendra Lewis headed down to the bullpen.
Cran over to second. That one hauled in eventually by Whitten makes it interesting. But we have a brand new ball game in Austin. Bobbled but caught by Kaylee Whitten. Amber Tobin coming up with the big strike. Game tying double on to the bottom of the 7th inning we go. The Badgers will be trying to win it. Well, Wisconsin was looking good in the bottom of the sixth after a couple of errors. Had them put a runner at third. The squeeze pays off. Bark dropping down the bunt. The Badgers took a 1-0 lead into the seventh inning, but with 2 outs in the top half of the seventh, Amber Tobin ties it up. A Baylor team known more for pitching and defense this year comes through with their bats to send us now to the bottom of the seventh inning. And we'll see how the Badgers respond with Conger, Bojan, and Blomberg due up.
Well, you saw Wisconsin unable to manufacture runs and said, hey, we're going to go ahead and go to the short game. Meanwhile, Baylor displaying that little bit of power, back-to-back doubles.
This one bounced over to second. The toss to first done perfectly by Piper.
Wisconsin going to ask for a review on that play, how quickly or how slowly it was tossed, but that's the only play that Piper has.
Was out at first base. That call is being challenged by Wisconsin.
So Wisconsin with their first challenge of the day. Baylor lost theirs previously. But what a job by Piper, who came up with the big hit right before Tobin. Later came around to score in the top half. Looked like a strong play there to get the out.
I believe this is going to be confirmed. You see Cran able to glove that right there before the foot gets down, but it is bang bang. It's going to be crucial to try to get a run any which way you can, but right there's the best freeze frame, ball and glove, foot not on the bag yet. And we've talked about defense so much this game, Alex. A year ago, Baylor had one of the best middle infield duos in Tobin,
Presley Pylon.
Presley Pylon. I was about to draw a blank, but Faith Piper has done such a great job filling shoes of Presley Pylon, who's one of the best middles Glenmore has ever
For
had.
further review, the call in the field has been confirmed. The runner is out.
So the call's confirmed, it stands. Each
Wisconsin
team
still
now.
has one challenge left.
Thank you, Smokey. Each team with one challenge remaining. One away. Back up to the top of the order now for the Badgers. Emily Bojan, one of the few seniors, 3 seniors on this team, doubled in the third inning, walked in the first. Swing. And this there is a strike from Tanner, who struck out Bojan in the 5th inning. Tanner, 5 strikeouts, 5 walks, the 1 run allowed, unearned. After a couple of Baylor errors in that 6th inning, uncharacteristic errors. The Badgers to momentarily take the lead. Both starting pitchers over 100 pitches. Bojan doesn't chase that one.
Well, and Coach Glenmore talked about wanting Peyton Tanner to be efficient, and to be honest, being at 106 pitches right now, relatively efficient for this game. She's scattered in 5 walks, but still been able to come back and be tough as nails when they've need her most.
Glenmore making his 17th appearance in an NCAA regional. This one going down to the wire. Two. Throw over to first. 2 away.
That off-speed pitch right there by Peyton Tanner. It mirrored her curve. She was going curve out, curve out, curve out, able to throw that pitch outside as well, but down in the zone to see if they can get Bojan to swing over top of it. Nice execution there.
But Tanner not out of the woods just yet. Here is one of the greatest home run hitters in Wisconsin history, Hillary Blomberg. 15 homers on the year. Tied for the most in a single season in program history. And second all time. With 34, there was a home run swing and a miss. hometown kid, born in Madison. Went to numerous Wisconsin softball camps. Broke out into tears when they finally made her an offer. Her sister transferred in to join the team from South Dakota State in the offseason. Her whole career with the Badgers has been a dream come true.
As a coach with Gary Healy, you also love when that hometown kid wants to come to your university. You're able to keep her there, pull from your backyard and keep them home. That's sometimes.
But that at bat turns into a nightmare. A strikeout to end the 7th. We are playing extras here in the opener of the Austin Regional. Headed to extras here in game number 1 of the Austin Regional. The winner moves on to play the winner of Texas and Wagner, who will take the field coming up about a half hour after the conclusion of this one. When you talk about extra innings in the history of these two programs in the postseason, Baylor 4-3 in extras in NCAA tournament history. The Badgers 2-2. Who has the momentum right now, Kat?
Well, right now I think Baylor has the momentum, having been able to score in the 7th. Peyton Tanner with the 2 strikeouts there in the bottom of the 7th. But really, no one has grabbed it in this game. Right when Wisconsin had it, Baylor was able to come back. So it's been teetering on both sides. But it's there for the taking if Baylor wants to go ahead and use the top of the 8th to grab it.
5, 6, and 7 hitters due up for Glenmore and the Bears. Samaya Jones leading off. She's 1 for 3 with a single in the 4th inning. How about the performance in the circle by the senior Shelby Jacobson? She's thrown 122 pitches. Her season high is 146 in a game. Jones ready to go as we begin the 8th. Jacobson had been so good in the first 6 innings, holding this Baylor offense to just 2 hits, a single and a double, but back-to-back doubles off of her in the 7th, tied the game. Jones, the sophomore transfer from LSU, chops one up the middle, and a diving snare by Conger, but can't make a play on it. And the leadoff hitter aboard for the Bears.
Well, you've mentioned, Alex, we talked to Brooklyn Carter and some of her teammates. They said Samaya Jones is the most underrated player because she is catching fire late in the season. Able to chop this one up the middle, and the speed Jones had, there was no play for her at first base. But Samaya Jones being the base runner that Baylor needs on early in this inning.
Keep in mind, this is one of the fastest teams in the Big 12, 2nd in stolen bases. And Jones is 2nd on the team in stolen bases. Will she go with Kagan Marshall, the powerful sophomore, at the plate? Jones with a big lead. And headed back to first. What a season for Marshall. Team leading 10 home runs. Keep in mind, no one hit 10 home runs for the Bears all of last season. Having a fantastic year. A cat and mouse game, meanwhile, between Blomberg behind the dish. Jones over at first, who took another big lead, but headed back to the bag.
Well, Jones with some incredible speed. She hits from the right side, so used a little bit less than like a lefty slapper. Like Keegan Marshall saying, Brooklyn Carter's taught her everything she knows. They're trying to let Samaya Jones run bases the way Carter does.
Marshall was ahead of that, just destroyed it foul. Storied high school career growing up about 5 miles from Waco. 22 home runs last year high school. Tied for the most in the nation. Runner is going, the throw to second, just a little too wide of the bag. And Jones is in scoring position representing the go-ahead run.
Well, Samaya Jones takes off, and Coach Glenn Moore had been putting her in motion. There was a hit and run earlier. This time, Samaya Jones takes off on a changeup, gets her a couple extra steps. The throw wide of the bag, and she's safe, but Wisconsin going to make sure she left on time.
The call on the field is that the runner at first base did not leave early. That call is being challenged by Wisconsin.
So Wisconsin using their final challenge. If they end up losing it, they have none remaining. If they are successful, get to keep it. Big spot here in the 8th inning. Mentioned how Jones had been taking big leads. Did she leave early?
She's moving. It's when does that foot come off the bag? I don't think that foot comes off the bag. That's close, but I don't think it comes off the bag before the release. I think she gets a couple steps because of the changeup.
Should be a pretty good angle to tell. Timing looks identical to when the ball was released.
It'll be interesting if they think that's conclusive enough one way or the other. I think this will stand.
Well, you got a lot of speed as of right now over at second with no outs. And Baylor in terrific position. Bears 2 hits in the first 6 innings. As it stands right now, 3 hits in their last 4 at-bats.
Well, they say hitting's contagious, so really it's just somebody has to break through, and Faith Piper with that big double. Both sides are cheering. Both sides think that this is going to go their way as they play the replay on the big screen.
Don't know if we saw anything conclusive.
Just tell you, I'm glad it's not my job to have to make that decision.
Again, from our vantage point, things look pretty even. Let's see what the umpires say.
After further review, the call on the field is confirmed. The runner did not leave early.
Well, now Wisconsin is
That
in a
is
bind. They
Wisconsin's
lose
final challenge of the game.
their final challenge. Out of challenges, Baylor has the go-ahead run over at second with no outs. Again, Baylor the visiting team in this one, so Wisconsin will, no matter what, get to bat in the bottom of the 8th inning. The count is 2-2 to Keegan Marshall. Marshall over to second. Oh my goodness, the Bears get doubled up. Whitten made the grab, stepped on the bag, and just like that, the threat is over.
Keegan Marshall puts a charge in this one, but the placement of that just perfect for Whitten to be able to catch that. And Samaya Jones off to the races as soon as she hears contact. What looked like a Baylor threat ends up being an easy 2 for the Badgers.
I know the result, but was that the right play by Jones to take off at the crack of the bat?
Well, Jones was getting a heavy lead regardless because Baylor wants her to score. So in that situation, with the ball behind her, you can't really see where it's at. So she was going to have to pause and turn around. I think even if her lead was a little bit shorter, Whitten had her.
Olivia Bittner to left field. That one is going to bounce off the base of the wall. And how about Olivia Bittner sliding in with the 2-out double? A little bittersweet there, considering that would have easily scored Samaya Jones.
Jones was on second. She trots home easily on this, but Bittner, we've talked about the power she has. She displays it here. Baylor just passing the bat and allowing this momentum to continue down the lineup.
Well, this fourth time through the order, they are really breaking through against Jacobson. You wonder how much longer she's going to stay out there. Over 130 pitches. And Baylor with 4 hits in their last 6 at-bats against her, including 3 doubles. Here is Abby Flores, who walked in the second. Go-ahead run at second in the form of Bittner.
On the last 3 lefties have all hit the ball in the same place, that left center gap. Faith Piper, Amber Tobin, and Bittner have all driven that gap right there. So you see the lefties adjusting to the pitches of Jacobson.
We were scoreless through the first 5. Wisconsin taking the lead on an unearned run in the bottom of the 6th inning. Baylor earning theirs in the top of the 7th. Flores drives one to deep center field, but right there was Lucy. We move on to the bottom of the 8th inning, where Wisconsin will be trying to end it, sending up their 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Back here at the opening game of the Austin Regional. Wisconsin sending up their 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Jacqueline Showalter, Kendra Lewis, Kaylee Whitten trying to end it here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The winner heads into the winner's bracket to play in the first game of the day tomorrow against the winner of Texas and Wagner, who have been waiting for a while now. They were set to get started right about now, and that game has been pushed back. We'll get started about a half hour after the conclusion of this one here from McCombs Field. Here is Jacqueline Showalter, power hitting freshman, singled back in the first inning. Drives one to right field. And the grab is made by Pogue, one away.
Well, you talked about injuries for Baylor, and Carrington Dawson went down in their series against Houston, one of their sure-handed outfielders. So right field has been a little bit of a revolving door. Samaya Jones used to hold that down while Dawson was in left. They moved.
That one off the bat of Kendra Lewis and fielded calmly by Tanner. Couple of pitches, couple of outs.
Well, interesting enough, Wisconsin needs a base runner, but 2 pitches, 2 outs. If you're Peyton Tanner, that's what you love to see.
Well, here comes Kaylee Whitten with 2 away. Her sparkling defense kept the game alive in the top half of this frame moments ago. She doesn't swing at the first pitch, unlike previous 2 batters. There's a runner on second with no outs for the Bears, and Whitten makes the grab, steps on the bag. And again, if Jones isn't tagged out at second, could have potentially come home. Meanwhile, that one scooped by Tobin. A 1-2-3 frame worked again by Peyton Tanner. We're headed to 9 here in Austin. We are tied at 1 in game number 1 of the Austin Regional, headed to inning number 9 from McCombs Field. The visiting team Baylor due up Wisconsin, the home team. Poor Texas, they've been standing over there for about an hour. Tegan Cavan and company, the defending national champs, waiting to take the field against Wagner for their opening contest. Cavan all smiles. Second the SEC in strikeouts this year. She at least has to be appreciating this pitcher's duel between Shelby Jacobson and Peyton Tanner. Jacobson out there has thrown 135 pitches so far. Number 136 taken to right field for out number 1 off the bat of Pogue. And both of these teams swinging at the first pitches in these latter innings against pitchers who have thrown a ton of pitches so far.
Oh, and if you're going to swing and be aggressive, make sure you're on time and your barrel's on plane, as most of these hitters have seen these pitchers now getting ready the 5th time through. But when Peyton Tanner's mixing speeds and you're swinging early in the count, she got a couple miss hits off the bat of the Badgers.
Time is called by Jacobson.
Arguing going on, not sure.
Things are
over
tense
what.
here. It's getting hot. People are anxious to see who wins this game. The Texas fans are anxious. They're sitting in the stands. Meanwhile, Brooklyn Carter gives one a ride to deep center field. Backing up, making the grab was Lucy on the track. The wind helping that one push back a bit. These teams continue to swing away early. Here is Faith Piper, who scored the tying run in the 7th inning after doubling before that.
The 7th inning was identical. Savannah Pogue got the first out. Brooklyn Carter with a loud out for out number 2, and then Faith Piper and Amber Tobin went back to back. Baylor seeing if they can work that same magic here.
The 1-1 from Jacobson. A couple of strikeouts for the senior, 6 hits allowed. 1 earned, 6 free passes.
Well, you can tell Shelby Jacobson continues to favor that arm side against left-handed hitters, and that's where Baylor made the adjustment with their lefties, able to drive that to left center. Just gonna have to mix speeds or surprise them inside on occasion.
Jacobson, what a performance, getting closer and closer to her career high, which is 146 pitches thrown. Up against Penn State back in March. Works the count full. Payoff pitch on the way to Faith Piper. Piper up the middle, handled easily by Jacobson. Both pitchers working 1, 2, 3 frames. Onto the bottom half of the 9th we go. What a performance to begin the regional by Peyton Tanner, top 10 in the Big 12 in strikeouts. She had 7 so far today, Kat.
Well, Peyton Tanner has had ice in her veins when it mattered most, but she's been able to use the curveball early and the off speed that's tunneling with that pitch late. The last few strikeouts have been on that changeup and really been in command here late in the game. He's retired 9 straight since the squeeze play that scored Wisconsin's only run.
Squeeze play. That took place with Olivia Bark at the plate. Here she is again. Back in the 6th inning, bottom of the 6th, dropped down that bunt. That brought home a run. Wisconsin was swinging away early at the first pitches in the last inning, changing up the strategy here in the 9th. Tanner up to 120 on the day. Ball 3.
Much different approach for Wisconsin here. Last half inning, they came out, swung first 2 pitches they saw. This time, Olivia Bark working the count.
And a leadoff 4-pitch walk. Olivia Bark over at first, representing the winning run here in the 9th inning. So here is Riley Crane. Corners playing in as Crane drops down the bunt, the throw over to first. They get the out, but advance the runner Bark into scoring position. Crane does her job. Winning run at second, Danielle Lucy coming up to the plate. A junior center fielder from Cottage Grove, Wisconsin, one of a number of home state heroes for this Badger squad. Trying to come through yet again. That one, nice job by Piper keeping that one from going to center field.
I like the aggressiveness from Abby Flores. That was a planned play, so she went ahead and just fired that down. See if they got Bark off second base.
Lucy up the middle, finds its way to center field, and Bark will hold up at third. So here we go, Bark representing the winning run over at third. Still just one away.
Well, Lucy taking this curveball that's up in the zone, right back up the middle. Peyton Tanner unable to glove that one. But Yvette Healy quickly putting on the brakes for Bark as Brooklyn Carter got to that one quickly. Not trying to chance getting the second out at home with your winning run.
Here comes Hannah Conger, the sophomore, with a chance to walk it off. In the Big Ten tournament, Conger delivered arguably Wisconsin's most clutch hit of the season, a walk-off home run against Purdue to keep them alive. Their first walk-off win in the conference tournament in Wisconsin history.
Well, couple that, they've had 4 walk-off wins this year, which was the most in the Big Ten.
And the count goes 2-1 to Conger. Went yard twice in the Big Ten tournament. After hitting just 2 home runs the entire regular season, can she come through here in the 9th? Showing patience.
Right now is where Peyton Tanner needs to be her most efficient. You see she's trying to use that curveball, but it's going off the plate too far.
Full count on the way.
I wouldn't be surprised here to see that Healy put this runner in motion regardless of what Conger does. Try to force Baylor to have to make some plays.
Conger to right field, and Wisconsin will walk it off for the 3rd time in tournament history. Hannah Conger comes through again.
Such a huge moment for the sophomore. Hadn't delivered a hit yet today. 0 for 2 with a walk, but able to stay with the curveball from Peyton Tanner and deliver the game-winning hit. Such a great battle by both teams, and really both pitchers continuing to work out of jams.
Wisconsin's first walk-off victory in the NCAA tournament since 2022, and again their 3rd all-time as Hannah Conger The walk-off homer in the Big Ten tourney and a walk-off hit over the head of the right fielder Pogue. The Badgers fans are fired up. They sweated this one out. And they have moved into the winner's bracket here in Austin. Let's take a look now at today's Capital One rewarding performance, which happened just a moment ago thanks to the sophomore Hannah Conger.
Hannah Conger knowing exactly where that pitch was going to go, and it'll come up big for the Badgers.
Wisconsin will now await the winner of Texas and Wagner, as the Longhorns and Seahawks will take the field in about 30 minutes. The number 2 overall seed Texas, the defending national champions, coming up here from McCombs Field. Winner of that one takes on Wisconsin in game number 1 of 3 games tomorrow, while Baylor will face the loser of that contest in an elimination game. A busy day tomorrow, but we're not done today. On day number 1 of the Austin Regional, Wisconsin victorious. Coming up in about 30, the defending national champs, Texas, getting ready to take on the Wagner Seahawks.